Navalny may have been poisoned before he reached Tomsk airport for a Moscow-bound plane last month. The opposition leader is recovering in a German hospital from the effects of the Soviet-era nerve agent Novichok. It had been thought he'd ingested the poison at the airport, but new evidence from his own team suggests otherwise. Alex Morgan from The Cube has more.
Well, Alexei Navalny's aides had believed that it was a cup of tea at the airport. That was how he came into contact with Novichok, the nerve agent. Now they're saying, actually, looking at the evidence gathered from his room, which they say they collected about an hour after hearing that Alexei Navalny had fallen ill on this internal flight, well, they say that is where the Novichok came from. It's a claim coming from Alexei Navalny's team. It's not coming from the German authorities, who, of course, took custody of Alexei Navalny when he was airlifted to Berlin for treatment. This is coming purely from Navalny's team. They shared a video on Instagram and in a lengthy post said they didn't trust Russian authorities. They instantly thought there was foul play. You can see them here moving around the room, collecting evidence, bagging up whatever they can. And part of that are a group of water bottles. We see 2 on a table here and a further 1 on a bedside unit. His team now saying, and indeed backing this up at a press conference, saying this is where the Novichok came from. Now, again, as I was saying, this is a claim coming from Navalny's press team, not coming from the German authorities, who had said that Novichok was detected, but had not speculated about where it had come from. Well, that detection of Novichok, of course, supported by the French president, after a French lab did some independent analysis, and Emmanuel Macron said to Vladimir Putin on the phone there must be an investigation, also supported by an independent lab in Sweden that Novichok was detected. But here, demanding answers of Russia, pointing the finger at the Kremlin, but not saying where the Novichok came from, or of course who administered it. Russia have denied any involvement. But this step from Navalny's team to say it came from the hotel room, it came from the water bottle, of course raises questions about whether that's a plausible route of transmission, a plausible way of bringing someone into contact with a nerve agent. So I spoke to Alistair Hay. He's a professor of toxicology in the UK, and we asked him for his take on this latest report.
They will have to look at the water bottles, assess what might be present on them or in them, and do tests accordingly. There have been tests in the past using nerve agents administered to individuals in water. And it takes some time before the full effects are manifest. So it depends very much on how much someone was exposed to, so the concentration, if you like, in the drinking water. And if it was a very small amount, then it may take some time for the concentration to be high enough for symptoms to occur.
Well, the German authorities not commenting on this report from Alexei Navalny's team. We spoke to them. They will give no further comments. Also worth saying, that laboratory in Sweden that we spoke to as well, one of the independent labs confirming Novichok, well, they say they examined blood samples, so they weren't talking about water bottles either. Regardless, though, I think perhaps of the specifics there, the fact that there is a case to be discussed about the presence of Novichok, well, that is being backed up now by the OPCW, who say, that is the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, who say they are supporting the German government in analysing samples. And, of course, those results will be forthcoming. We're expecting them in the coming days, perhaps a week or so. So why does this matter? Well, Alexei Navalny's team saying they believe they know exactly where the poisoning took place. But, of course, all of this, as fingers are pointing at the Kremlin, demanding an investigation is opened in Russia and that answers are provided.
Our correspondent in Moscow, Galina Polanskaya, said the Russian authorities questioned the evidence provided by Navalny's team.
This story of this bottle of water has many inconsistencies, thinks the permanent representative of Russia to the EU, Vladimir Chizhov. In an interview to a Russian state TV channel, he said that this story brings up more questions than answers. For example, how did this bottle could travel to Berlin? Who brought it through all the security checks in the airports? And he also said that it was absurd to link the situation with Navalny, with politics, and especially with business projects such as Nord Stream 2 gas pipe line, and he also expressed hope that the EU deputies will point their attention to all the inconsistencies in the whole story with the state of health of Alexei Navalny, as he had said. At another state channel, in a talk show, this story was shown with plenty of sarcasm. An anchor of this show was trying to prove to his audience that this video was some kind of a fake, and he pointed to a clock that had been blurred, as he said, by the supporters of Navalny. In any case, this story, this bottle, is not a game changer in Russia. It is not an evidence and will not be taken as such. Russia keeps on demanding the evidence from Germany. The foreign ministry here said that Western countries have crossed all borders, turning the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons into a dirty instrument of their destructive plans. And the foreign ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said that Russia will give a fair and mirror-like answer to any sanctions that could be imposed.
Still to come.